Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. JP's first son, Tim Hoey, will be coming to us very shortly. Well, boys, let's get going. We have so much to talk about. Breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. I think Commissioner Rob Manfred of the Major League Baseball has announced that thankfully, I think he's done a terrible job, that he is going to be retiring after 2028. We actually talked about it because we're a cutting edge show. We talked about in the last few weeks, would Theo consider to be the commissioner? If you remember, we actually addressed this. So we always start with Russ. Russ, this is obviously big news in Major League Baseball. Been there for a long time. Will Theo Epstein, who is currently a consultant for Major League Baseball, in addition to his duties with the Fenway Sports Group, will he be offered the job?
I think he's going to do a Lyndon B. Johnson and say, if I am nominated, I will not accept in circa 1968. I think Theo might expect to be invited to apply for the job, and I think he'll politely turn them down because that is not a job for anyone who doesn't want to be a stooge for a bunch of really rich baseball owners, because that's basically what that job is at this point.
Timmy, we just started the show. We waited as long as we humanly possibly could. But Timmy, can't hear you. Put your sound on, Timmy. Where are you?
We still can't hear you, Tim. You got to unmute yourself.
I think I'm unmuted.
Oh, now we can
He's
hear
good.
you.
Yeah, Timmy's good. All right.
This breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, has announced that in 2028 he will be retiring. We talked about, if you remember, last few weeks about Theo being considered. Russ says no, he's not going to touch it. Do you think, at the very least, Theo's offered the job, and do you think he would accept it?
I do think he would accept it. I think, Russ, I did catch your party, be a stooge for a bunch of rich guys. Now, I'm not sure how much it pays. I don't know if it's anything like what the NFL pays. That's a king's ransom.
Yeah,
they're getting over there. What is it in the 15 million a year range?
Goodell makes 50 to 60 million, right?
Yeah,
that's the NFL.
Manfred's not making that.
No. What do you think? What do you think that position pays? I mean, that's a realistic question, I think.
Well, I think it's far less. I'd say 1 or 2 million. Maybe.
No. Oh, it would be unusual. No.
No, but he could demand
as
that.
of last year. Hang on, I got the answer. As of last year, he had a salary of $17.5 million. Manfred did.
Yeah.
Would he have to give up his stake in?
Yes.
He would. All right.
He would. Absolutely.
That would be odd. That's a legendary job. Like your great grandchildren say, my father was the commissioner of baseball. My great grandfather was commissioner of baseball.
Kennesaw Mountain Landers.
Yeah, I don't know if it still carries that leverage. It's a big job, though.
He's right.
Job.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
I'm more inclined to go along with Russ on this because I think he has a pretty good job now with a lot more independence and probably, can make a good piece of change doing what he's doing now with the Fenway Sports Group.
I'm going to agree with Timmy. I think that, first of all, 17 and a half, obviously they'd have to bring to at least to the table 30 million a year. To be a commissioner of baseball, all these people at this moment in time to be in a position that he could be in and make an impact on baseball. If he wants to make an impact in baseball. I think that's hard to turn down. And this whole idea that he'd be part of an expansion group. Well, to be honest with you, baseball is struggling financially. They're really struggling on the TV markets and stuff. That's not, and we couldn't even think of two legitimate cities that they can move to. I'm going to agree with Timmy on this one. I think that if the package is good enough, if they give him lots of autonomy, that he's the next commissioner of baseball.
And I think he'd be a good one on top of that.
Well, it's 2 versus 2, and I know who I'm betting on in this fight. So, Joe, it's you and me.
Well, it's been very interesting.
But
stuff.
you do make a good point there, Tim. It's generational. I mean, everyone knows Kennesaw Mountain Landis. I mean, he was just like a major figure in this country, like the president of the United States there. I mean, the job doesn't carry that kind of gravitas anymore. But
I think that Bud Selig took the life out of that job, to
Yeah,
be
he
honest
did.
with you, fellas. It's a
crossed
much
over.
less sexy job after the Selig administration. Let's put it that
Right.
way.
Now, do you think Theo could go in there with conditions? Like I have control. You guys want me that
No,
bad?
those
would
guys
never
don't
let
get
him have that
bossed around.
control. No.
Well,
They-
They're
he
the
has
owners.
No, Russ,
Yeah.
you said it. Joe, you said the league is struggling. And he could say, "Hey, I think I could save it. I think I could reinvent Major League Baseball. I have a lot of ideas."
Yeah, but here's the problem, though, Timmy, is that probably 60 or 70% of those ideas, if not more, are going to have to be included in the collective bargaining agreement. I mean, most of the changes, once you get to some more radical changes in the game. If let's say they make it a 7-inning game, right? Because they just shorten it for attention spans. That's going to be collectively bargained.
Yeah.
Now
You can't make a lot of changes.
Rob Manfred really made a lot of major changes here in his tenure.
Well, the last year.
Yeah.
Just that stuff-
The
Yeah.
various clocks and timing devices they've got on everything.
Do you think the players would know it would be in their best interest to enhance and preserve and grow the game to make some major changes, or would they fight everything tooth and nail?
Well, they made major changes. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
They
they would
didn't
go
last
along
year.
with the changes, but they
there's
want something in return.
Right. I think Major League Baseball went about as far as they could on changes that didn't have to be collectively bargained. But I just go back to, look, you guys might be right. Maybe Theo looks at it as this is a challenge of a lifetime. I could save the sport, blah, blah, blah. I just think about like some jackass owner calling Theo up at 5:30 in the morning to bitch and moan about something. And, Theo's going into the Hall of Fame. First ballot.
Yeah.
He got the Red Sox a World Series and the Cubs a World Series. And the natural thing, if I'm Theo, is to get a real piece of ownership and make generational wealth. Not that $25 million a year isn't great, but it ain't like owning an asset that's going up every single damn year because the media rights keep going up.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, but Russ, he's going to have to consider it seriously.
Maybe.
It's not something where you dismiss right away.
If I was his agent, I'd be like, you can do better, Theo. You can do better.
Well, when in Selig, I wouldn't want to talk about too much longer, but I think when Selig became, you obviously was the owner of the Brewers. He gave up what did he give up? He didn't get interest to this daughter or something, but he still owned the Brewers.
Yeah, he's still on the Brewers.
So it's a possibility that Theo could do both.
Maybe.
If they want.
I don't know. Yeah.
But it's very interesting.
I think the professor is best qualified to answer that question.
But it's very interesting. Again, just something else to talk about. All right, boys, we've got to go, and we've got to start with the Boston Celtics. It's it's not halfway.
We can't talk about the crappy Red Sox for the first 45 minutes.
No, we'll get there. I know
Pitches and catches have been there now.
Unless if you want, pitchers and catches are here.
I don't want to.
Let's finish off the Red Sox conversation since we're on baseball.
Let's give the Red Sox what we usually give the Bruins about 10 seconds at the end.
So we're done with the Red Sox thing? All right. No.
Let's talk like it's there was even more evidence this week, over the past week, that they're just going to ride this thing out.
It's unraveling. Have you seen Cora the last couple of days? You can tell he has had it with this team. He's going to fulfill his contract, and after this year, he is out of there.
I can't
he
even
is
believe
out of
it.
there.
Is he just going to be shit-faced the whole year, like with the bottle in his back pocket in the dugout?
Yeah,
they're going to show him over in the corner, like drinking out of a half pint. You know what I mean?
he has had it with the. And I guess
well, here's the problem, though, Timmy, is if he does that, it's going to be on Netflix.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I know. I know. You add the Netflix thing this is absolutely the biggest shit show of all time already. We're by the fourth inning, are we going to have a positional fourth inning of opening day, we're gonna have a positional player pitch. I mean, that's what it's starting to feel like.
And the prices went up. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, this
Hard-
is
It's going to be Hard Knocks Fenway Park, right? And
Yes.
they couldn't have picked a more boring team. There are no personalities on this team. Like
none.
Tristan
Yeah.
Casas is going to look like freaking Nick Cage at the height of Nick Cage's goddamn acting career compared to the rest of these below schmucks.
I know. I mean,
And, well, who's our friend out there in center field with the health
Duran,
mental
Jared
health issue?
Duran.
Jared
Mental
Duran.
health issue. Let's see if he has a couple episodes during.
So
the
so
filming,
Yoshida so Yoshida doesn't speak any English.
no,
Our
Devin
third
South.
baseman doesn't speak any
no,
English, right?
eliminated.
Half the
Cass
pitching
is-
staff doesn't.
Right. Cassis is a complete whack job. Like he could either go over really well
They're
or
gonna show,
really not.
they're going to show him painting his toenails. That'll be
That's
the
gonna be a
highlight
whole
of the show.
episode. Is him
Yeah.
painting his toenails. You can bet on
Right.
it.
We got a God-loving Trevor Story at short, so I don't know what that's gonna. Connor Wong might be the whole star of the whole of the whole series.
So do we know if he speaks English? We don't even know.
He speaks English. Yeah, he's American.
This is-
Oh,
Yes,
God.
we've seen him interviewed a few times.
I
Does
mean-
O'Sullivan, does
Right,
O'Sullivan speak-
and Reese McGuire is still on the team.
Oh
for
my
God's
God!
sake.
He's
Wait,
gonna.
McGuire, wait, Reese McGuire only speaks Gaelic. He doesn't speak
Mm-hmm.
English.
No, Reese McGuire.
He
they're gonna do
speaks
a whole episode of
masturbating
in the
in the
parking lot.
parking lot.
Yeah, oh
So
God.
they'll follow
And
him in
then
the parking lot.
I got to tell you, I'm sure after this Netflix thing, they're probably bummed that they traded Chris Sale. At least he had a personality. I mean, it was ridiculous, but he has a personality.
The clown.
And
Does
they already
Connor
showed
Wong
today.
speak
They're
English?
already starting to videotape. They're already taping spring training. I mean,
Yeah.
Wait, Russ, are you sure Connor Wong
Yeah.
speaks English?
Yes, he's American. He's
Cora's the
American.
answer to all the questions. I don't want to talk about that. Now.
Look,
I don't want to talk about
there are
it.
going to be guys like Sammy Sosa who are going to act like they don't speak English when that
Oh
camera's
yeah,
on that
know.
show.
Connor Wong would be like,
I don't understand what you're talking about.
wait, Connor, didn't you grow up in Kansas?
Yeah, Trevor Story's going to pretend he's Norwegian and doesn't know a goddamn word of English
Yeah.
when he's
But I
gotten
never-
210.
I've never seen with Cora. He's already out the door.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
done.
He
He's done.
he is so
D-U-N,
done. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They asked him if he was going to manage the Red Sox moving forward, and he said, and he didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
What is he even doing here?
Fulfilling the contract, and then he's moving on.
This is, I mean, so okay, will you agree now? Seriously, get this on tape. That Jason Varitek's the next manager of the Red Sox, and it's probably Game 10.
For the 12th year in a row,
They have started constructing the uniform today.
If they
They started
start 1-9,
building.
do you agree 1-9? They're firing Cora.
Hey guys, you want to know what would make me like literally the happiest man on the planet? Because I think Daniel Nava's back into coaching. Imagine Cora leaves and they make Daniel Nava the Red Sox manager over Jason Varitek. I mean, I would strip naked and start doing victory laps around the Boston Common if that happened.
Oh, that would be the worst thing ever.
and Nava makes
Oh.
Jason Varitek his bullpen coach.
We need to put a camera on Scotty 24/7. That's all I
Oh
can say.
my God. Oh no, please. Oh, thanks for ruining the show. Ruining my night. No, I mean, what are we even doing here? What are the Red Sox even doing now? We keep on speculating about Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery may have to play for the minimum on some team the way this is going, and they still won't sign him.
Yeah, they won't.
They won't trade Kenley Jansen because they want teams to take up the whole salary instead of like the Red Sox picking up maybe $3 million. This is the Boston Red Sox.
Oh yeah, and the other teams say, why should we take a guy that's 38 years old, injury prone? Matter of fact, supposedly he's already injured.
You know what's so sad is they so gaslit me at this point in time that if they traded Kenley Jansen and then signed Jordan Montgomery, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah,
That's how gaslit I've been.
yeah.
And
I know.
you would still have a net zero
Right.
for that pitching staff.
Yeah.
But
I'd
Kenley
be
Jansen
over
was
the moon.
really good for the Red Sox last year.
Of course he was.
He was a legit
Yeah.
closer. There's no reason why he shouldn't be on the
Well, I
team.
thought you've been campaigning for Garrett Whitlock to be the closer for years now.
No. If I said if you get rid of Kenley Jansen, obviously, but I mean, I want both of them on the team pitching for the Boston Red Sox. Why should we lose Kenley Jansen? What did he do wrong?
He makes too
No,
much
nothing.
money, I think.
He's just a salary they want to cut in order to sign another salary. Ridiculous.
Hey, do we want to look at the Super Bowl, the scores we picked last week?
Oh, all right, let's go to the Super Bowl. Yes, let's go this.
Tim and Russ won.
Who
What was
won?
the final? What was the final score?
20. It was 19-19 in overtime, and they kicked a field goal. It was 22-19, and then they scored, so it would have been 25-22, I think.
Yeah, so
Right.
the over was 48 or 47 and a half.
Russ had 24-21.
Oh,
Off
there
by
you go.
1 point each. Look at that.
Yeah.
Beat that, fellas.
Tim had 28-27. Joe had San Fran 24-21.
Wow.
And Scotty had San
Lost.
Fran 31. Scotty had San Fran 31-28.
I took
Oh,
that. I was
there
off
we
by
go.
1 point on each
Russell
side.
wins.
All right, well done, Russ. Well done.
So I win
Take
the
your
whole
victory
year, right?
lap.
I
Yeah.
win the whole year, right?
Okay, we got to talk about that controversial coin toss. It really was one of the stupidest moves of all time. The San Francisco taking the ball first.
Scotty, hadn't their defense just been on the field forever though?
Yeah.
But it's such an advantage. In fact, Kansas City said had San Francisco scored a touchdown and then Kansas City scored a touchdown, they were going to go for two, because that's what the analytics said.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was inexcusable. Is it a fire?
Well, you know what's interesting is that.
Scotty, Russ, go ahead.
Well, I think you and I are going to be on the same side on this, Timmy. I think in retrospect, it looks bad. I think in the end, I would have taken the ball second, but I don't think it was like a 90% decision. I think it was like a 55% decision. I don't see that as like a no-brainer.
Hadn't San Fran's defense been on the field like the whole
fourth
quarter? It felt like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
And Kansas
gassed.
City's defense was gassed. Yeah.
They had been talking about it like these guys are dragging, and then I remember. I know, Scotty, but they had been on. They were exhausted. I think
the decision that had to be made before the game started. They were aware of the rules.
Well, I think that was a variable. That was a very heavy variable. I think if they weren't gassed, they absolutely would have done it that way. But I think that had a lot to do with the choice.
Well,
I'm not saying it was right, but I think that was a big reason.
You're giving Kansas
And then
City
they
an extra
fired
down.
the defensive coordinator today.
But you're giving Kansas City an extra down.
Yeah.
And how can you get right? I mean, you're allowing Kansas City, and then you're also pigeonholing yourself because you're having to commit to possibly doing a fourth down, and if you don't convert, game's over too.
I'll say this: you will never ever see that done again.
No,
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it was so interesting about this. I've been thinking a lot about this. That we've never the situation that Kansas City was in. So I would have taken the ball second, because I would have assumed Mahomes was going to score a touchdown. And then one of the reasons that goes into assuming Mahomes is going to score a touchdown, which has never been the case, I think, in the history of the National Football League. Once San Francisco scored, Mahomes had 4 downs. Every time the marker turned, he had 4 downs.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to worry about time or timeouts.
Yeah.
So you say, all right, well, you get at the end of a game where a team knows they have to go for it for 4th downs, but they're fighting the clock and they probably don't have timeouts. Mahomes didn't need to worry about timeouts or the clock. Yeah. He had all day long for that drive. If that drive took 20 minutes, it took 20 minutes. It didn't matter.
Yeah. You will never see that call again, ever.
I don't think you will either. Yeah.
Well, Kansas City was going to defer, just so you know, if they won the coin toss. So, I mean, they had thought it out. Shanahan's explanation was...
Wait, Kansas City was going to let San Fran take the ball for us?
That was because that was the clear strategy. Shanahan's answer was, well, we would have got the ball third and had we scored, we would have won. Ridiculous.
He forgot. He neglected to remember. Look, you guys may or may not be here. Like, peak Mahomes is as good as peak Brady. with respect to you give him the
Yes.
football and that he needs to score on a drive, and he's exactly where Brady
And
at
he's
peak
Brady.
just as
He's
good.
Brady, and throw some legs on Brady.
And
Well,
he can run
one
it.
difference, Mahomes is only like that in the fourth quarter after he's seen the defense all game. Brady
Yeah,
can
that's when it's
pick
most
up on
important.
and things in about the second and third quarter.
Sure.
But Mahomes is just that is money
Yeah.
like that in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
When he
and
knows
throw
everything the defense is going to do.
Yeah, and throw a pair of running legs on Brady. Maybe even
That's right.
an added dimension that Brady didn't even have.
That's right.
He's got
Mahomes
the
is
head of Brady, he's got the arm of Brady, and he's got the legs on top.
He's
of it.
incredibly accurate. I mean, no matter what position, that's where I guess the baseball training helped. No matter where
The
he
arm
is,
slot from anything.
he's able to settle his body down like a shortstop wherever he's running
Yeah.
around, and ultimately he has such body control where whenever he releases the ball, he's perfect form, and pretty much the ball is almost. I remember they don't have great wide receivers other than Kelsey.
No.
They're perfect. The ball's in their chest every time.
I really thought
so-
when Hill left, they were going to take a big decline.
Yeah.
That hasn't been the case.
So I don't know about you guys, but for me, he's in that class of like Jeter and Steph Curry, where I don't hate him. Like I think he's so freaking
can ya?
good.
Yeah.
He's so good. I respect the hell out of it. I can't like I never hated Jeter. I hated the Yankees, but Jeter, man, he never did anything wrong.
He carries
Right?
himself very well
Yeah.
too.
Oh my
Great
God, these
point.
guys are fantastic. Fantastic.
They're fun to watch. I mean, we root against
Great.
them still, but they're
You
fun.
root against him, but like I love that. That guy's fantastic. Guy's amazing.
I bet on KC for one reason
Yep.
and one reason only. Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'll
I
tell
bet
you,
on,
that whole game revolves around that crazy muffed punt.
Yep,
Where because if not, Kansas City was out of the game. They were just being
they were terrible in the first half. Yeah.
and they
Also
were being
losing to
dominated in the
Greenlaw.
second half too. Until that happened,
But Joe, I
gave
still
them
feel
life.
like no matter what it came down to, I don't know. I just feel like
Oh,
Mahomes,
if it's a one-score game and you give Mahomes the ball at the end of the game, he's going to score. Ask Buffalo about that. They'll tell you. You know, it happened. He is like Brady like that. But they were going to be out of it. They were going to be down 3 scores if something dumb like that doesn't happen.
No, but I think the biggest thing was Greenlaw going down. He's their key defensive guy, him and Warner. And
Yeah,
they
but
put in that other guy, and he got completely torched. He was thrown at 9 times, 9 completions. I mean, and that was just such a freakish injury. Running on the field, you blow out your ACL. Holy shit.
wasn't that crazy? He just started to walk out onto the field and he went
He
down.
blew it out. So they had a lot of bad things happen. But again, Brock Purdy against Patrick Mahomes that we see.
Oh, that's not a fair comparison.
I mean,
Although
okay,
Purdy was, what was he? He started the game like 9-9.
yeah, but they hadn't scored.
But then when the defense adjusted, he couldn't make the adjustment back.
Where is
That's where
Mahomes?
Mahomes and Brady can do it.
Brady's still the GOAT, but
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
could Mahomes ultimately, because Mahomes is going to win a couple more Super Bowls if he stays healthy. I mean, that's probably could
I mean,
he?
the only thing is every year these Super Bowl teams get rated. You know, their coaches get
Yeah.
rated. They're
Yeah.
we've seen it around here. You know what I mean? You think you have a dynasty, and then everyone gets a bundle of money thrown at them to go somewhere else, and it's hard to
Yeah.
sustain.
He's awful good.
I think he's got to get to. I think he's got to get to 5, right? I don't know that he's. I'm not going to say he can only be the GOAT if he only wins 7, but he's not going to have the longevity that Brady did,
No.
right? Like
How many
that's the
Super
bottom
Bowl-
line.
How many Super Bowls did Brady go to?
10.
9?
10.
Yeah.
10.
So
9
he-
with the
he
Patriots
went-
and
9 with
one.
the Patriots.
He
Yeah.
went. I mean,
9 with the
that's
Patriots.
a lot to be said.
Went 10 times, right? 10 times.
I think that you're right, Russ, in the sense that Patrick Mahomes is not going to be chasing the dollars at 40 years old. He's going to be far richer than Brady, as far as wealth in the NFL.
Yeah.
And even Brady
Yeah.
had that 10-year hiatus between championships. So and what Andy Reid is talking retirement, things can change.
I think he's going to go down as he may end up. It may be one of those classic. He's the most talented quarterback ever versus the greatest quarterback ever, right?
Yeah.
The most accomplished,
Right.
right?
Most
And Brady,
accomplished, yeah.
most
It's going to
accomplished.
be like the Montana comparisons that Brady faced for, you know,
until
most of
he
his
outstripped
career.
him.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's fun to watch. All right, we got to go to the New England Patriots, and if anything, that Super Bowl shows we need a really good quarterback, and we have an opportunity we have not had in what 30 years to have a top pick and a quarterback. They have to pick a quarterback at 3.
I don't know.
What if they don't like the third quarterback?
Then go get
What if,
the second or the first one.
yeah, but what if so let's say the Bears take Caleb Williams and the Commanders take your guy, which I've been seeing more and more of, Jalen Daniels, and the Patriots look at Drake May and they say, I don't know, could be Justin Herbert, could be Ryan Leaf. We're not convinced. What do you do if you're the Patriots? And the Commanders won't trade with you. They're like, no, Jalen Daniels is our guy.
And you're looking at what a guy who could go down in top 10 greatest wide receivers in history.
What do you do, Scotty?
I have to take the quarterback. I got to take that shot. I have to. I mean, this is such a unique situation. I mean, what are we going to do with a great wide receiver when we have?
Buddy, who else was? Who was the other quarterback in the Super Bowl? Mr. Irrelevant.
I know. I know. I mean, what are you going to do then? You're going to go down to what 6 and get Joe Alt, a left tackle?
JJ McCarthy. You take the wide receiver, maybe pick up JJ McCarthy in the second round or the third round.
No. Hey, I just want to mention this clear. If I'm not picking a quarterback at 3, I am trading down because I'm hoping to get a ransom.
So that's the answer to. So you've given us the answer to your question. If the Patriots are left with Drake May, and it turns out Drake May in their interviews out the combine was a moron. Like
he's
they're
Mitch
just
Trubisky. Yeah,
he's Mitch Trubisky, right? You would say, I'm trading down. I'm not taking Harrison. I'm trading down, and I'm getting two extra picks.
Oh,
and leaving it possibly leaving.
No, maybe 2 extra first round picks.
Yes, right.
And leaving, Randy Moss, leaving who's the guy from San Fran, the great wide receiver, Jerry Rice, leaving Jerry Rice or Randy Moss on the table to get,
what did Minnesota win, Timmy?
To get a Teddy Bruschi and a who's the lineman we took, whatever, you know what I mean?
What did Minnesota win with Moss? Nothing.
Minnesota.
They had some very good seasons with him. I'll tell you that.
They didn't win anything though. I
remember Moss walking off the field and letting that.
No, but Joe, I'm not talking his personality. I'm talking his level of talent and his accomplishments that he has.
I heard a good comparison. 5 years ago, Buffalo was in a similar situation, and instead of getting the quarterback, they traded back and they got rid of some of their guys like Watkins and got a lot of draft capital. And then the next year they drafted Josh Allen. The one downside to that was they had the 10th pick the year before. You know who they traded down? Who picked that? That was Pat Mahomes right there at 10.
But needless to say, this is my prediction. If they don't like a quarterback at 3, they trade down with the Giants at 6. They still get their Joe Alt. They get their left tackle.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's a scenario, we'll start with Timmy. Timmy, what do you need in return to move up? And that's moving up a lot. That's big spots to move up from 6.
Well, for one thing, I'm not leaving. I wouldn't do it. I'm not leaving that wide receiver on the table. If I don't like that, if I don't like any of the quarterbacks to the left, I'm grabbing that wide receiver. We've seen how important, how critical, and one of the reasons the Patriots are in the dumpster is because they have no wide receivers. You need someone who your quarterback can throw to, who can get open. We haven't had anyone like that in ages. Here's an opportunity to get that guy. However, Scotty, if we have to do a psychotic move, I'm recommending. If I go from 3 to 6, I want a first round next. Depends on who I'm trading with and how I perceive their first round pick to be next year. If I have a crystal ball,
they're gonna have a rookie quarterback. They're gonna have a rookie quarterback, obviously.
Well, but so I'm thinking whoever I want, a first, 2 seconds, and a first next year.
Yeah. in addition to the 6th pick. Russ, what do you want?
Yeah.
So I think I think there's actually a scenario. I think Atlanta has the 8th pick and then another pick later on in the first round. So let's say they went down to 6 or 8. I don't know where Atlanta is. I would say give us that pick, give us the other first round pick this year, and give us 2 seconds. And I would pick I'd pick the best offensive tackle I could pick at that point, and just say I'm going to build the best offensive line in the National Football League between this draft and free agents, and then I'll just get a quarterback somehow.
And you don't need a first next year.
A first this year I'm getting 2 first round picks, whether it's this year or next year.
Yeah.
And then a couple of seconds. I don't think they're going to get 3 first round picks, in other words.
Joe,
I think
Yeah,
they'll
you only
2
get
firsts.
3 first rounders for like the first and second pick of the.
Yeah.
Joe, what
I
do you
think so.
need? If it's Atlanta or Giants to move.
It's hard to say, but like drafting a tackle like Russ says, or a wide receiver like Tim says, they're both cost effective. The reason why you draft guys in the first round is because they're cost controlled for 5 years.
Mhm.
These are expensive positions, left tackle and wide receiver. They get a lot of money, not as much as quarterback, but almost. That's
Yeah.
why you see quarterbacks, wide receivers, cornerbacks, and left tackles. That's the only thing drafted in the early rounds.
Yeah.
I could see if they could grab 2, that would make Robert, a tackle in the Atlanta scenario. I think they're 9th, and say 21st. What the heck, you get yourself a good one. There's 3 wide receivers that are considered about the same. Marvin Harrison's got the name recognition value, but there's a couple other guys. Maybe they'd last, and or maybe you have a quarterback that you think can last till 21.
I don't like that scenario at all. I need a top Giants are
All right, tell us what we should do, Scott.
You go with the Giants at 6. If you feel like you can get Joe Alt, which is I guess they think they can.
Yeah.
Stud left tackle that you want, and then I want the Giants' 2nd round pick of this year, which is obviously a top pick, and then I want their 1st and 2nd next year.
I don't know if you'd get that much from 3 to 6. I don't think you'd get the second.
But
Maybe
Unless-
the first and
unless
second
they're
this
in
year and
love.
the first next year, or
Unless they're
just
in
the
love,
second next year
yeah, unless they're absolutely in love.
with the
Number 3.
quarterback. Yeah.
I mean that's that. Then I'm happy because you get your left tackle, and then you have 3 additional picks to
And
Yeah.
take JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, maybe you pick JJ McCarthy if he does slide to the 2nd round or something. But again, if they do trade that pick, Patriots Nation's not going to be happy. I can tell
Hey,
you.
is Tampa's quarterback available to take another year?
Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield? No,
Mayfield.
he's a free
He's a
agent.
free
But
agent.
they'll probably re-sign him. Hey, Scotty, just to be clear, I would take again, as you guys know, I don't know which one of these guys is going to make it and which one isn't, and whether Drake May is better than who's better than who. So I hope they take the quarterback with the 3rd pick. Whatever quarterback falls to them, I hope they take the quarterback and just take a shot at it.
Yeah, it's going to be the pro day. Like you said, I think the pro day is going to be as important as we can remember. Obviously, we're focused on it now because of the Patriots.
Yeah.
But these guys, the 3 of those pro days are going to be very important to see who goes.
Yeah, we're officially Jets fans. We're Jets like type fans.
right now. We are.
Pro day's the biggest
Right,
day
if
of the
we
year.
trade with the Giants, we can get right in front of the Jets. The Jets want to get a left tackle.
Yeah, our biggest day of the year now is pro day.
Yeah. Well, Merrill
I'm
Hodge.
interested. What about
Merrill Hodge said-
South Carolina's pro day? That Spencer Rattler is interesting to me.
How tall is he?
He's good size. He's like 6'3".
Okay.
And he's just got I think he's got some mental problems because geez, he was
Joe.
here you are, the
Jesus.
first string quarterback at Oklahoma, and you decide, what the
Oh,
heck,
God.
I'll go to South Carolina,
Yeah.
but he can
That's
do
what-
everything.
We need somebody with mental problems.
Yeah.
The SEC, the South Carolina playing the SEC.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that. You're in the
That's
SEC.
the old ball coach.
Area.
See what Bailey Zappi? Why does Bailey Zappi talk? Why is he even allowed to speak? He said apparently he told Albert Breer that Mac Jones was toxic in the quarterback room and that he used to watch tape with the wide receivers. Maybe Bailey Zappi was toxic. I don't understand. Why do we have to hear any of these idiots talk? Get them all out of here. I'm so sick of the sight of all of them.
That's the sign of unprofessionalism on Zappi's part. I mean, these guys, the real pros never utter a bad word about each other.
I know.
You know, that stays in the clubhouse, all of it.
Yeah. Do you think Mayo's buying any of the Bailey Zappi shit, Russ?
No, I think these guys know everything that went on in that locker room. I can't see either one of them being back. Could it maybe Zappi, depending on if they didn't draft a quarterback, they signed Jacoby Brissett. Would they keep Zappi on as a second quarterback? Because I don't know, maybe. I doubt it though.
No.
I think we've seen the last of Bailey Zappi.
Yeah,
Oh, I hope so.
Mayo knows it was the defense that turned on Mac early in the second year. They were the ones that didn't like Mac.
What do you guys see? Bill Belichick not getting a job. I mean, what do you read into that?
I think that they took a hard look at the last 3 years and how his personnel picks have been. And Scotty, I hate to say it, but I think he aged out.
No, keep saying it. It's wonderful.
That's Scotty's favorite expression.
I know.
I mean, look, this is really. I mean, this doesn't look
think
good. I mean,
I think he'd be a great defensive coordinator right now. If they gave him a group of guys to exclusively work with, I think he'd be otherworldly. You know what I mean?
Well, his son's a defensive coordinator now.
But I think him picking players is like his Achilles heel right now. I mean, he's been such a failure the last 4 or 5 years. An utter disaster failure.
You're right, Russ. What is your take? I mean, is Bill Belichick ever going to coach again?
Yeah, I think it happened. You know, you ended up in a situation where I think a lot of these teams are retooling, like Atlanta and the LA Chargers and the Raiders, and none of the jobs that came available were, hey, if we had the best coach ever, he could get us over the line. I think this year there's just a likelihood that Dallas or Buffalo, or who was the third that we thought they could fire their coach. Well, no, the Chargers hired Harbaugh. Philly, right? I think one of those three teams is not playing well next year, or they're in the middle of the year, or just doesn't make it. And I think they hire Belichick and just say we're one coach away from winning the NFL title.
I do think that Belichick would put Dallas over the hump.
Wow.
Yeah, I do too.
Remember, Parcells couldn't. Parcells was a similar situation when Parcells went there.
Yeah,
but they have the talent there. You know, they just need a Belichick.
Well,
you know?
He's notoriously cheap. He's very Robert Craftian. He doesn't spend a lot of money. He talks like he does, but the back 30 on that roster are always minimum wage. He doesn't have a lot of depth. That's why injuries always kill the Cowboys.
Yeah. So, but if you gave him an assembled, talented team like Dallas has, I mean, he could fine tune them and make some in-game decisions that I think could put them over the edge.
Yeah, McCarthy can be kind of crazy. Yeah,
Well,
and Philly, that guy's on a. They already fired all his coaches. Howie fired all his coaches and told them, "Tough shit. If you want the job, eat it." So it's they could put anyone in there.
Well, guys, I signed up for Apple TV today. The last time I did that
Just
was
for the dynasties,
for that horrendous soccer show that everybody loved. But the worst show I've ever watched in my life.
Is that right?
Oh,
I never watched it.
Oh, you saved yourself. Oh my God, I'm never getting that time back.
What Lally? What is it?
What was it? Oh, it was so. It was just
Ted Lasso or something like that.
Yeah, Ted Lasso.
No, that's
horrific.
My 88-year-old mother's favorite show on television. It's
It's
guy.
my
How dare
sister's
you?
favorite
How
show too.
dare? How dare you?
God, God bless her.
She's gonna come kick your ass,
Oh,
Scotty.
Let me tell you,
And I'm betting on her too.
let me just tell you, I just picked up some medicine for my mother at this pharmacy. $1,200.
What?
Mm.
Yeah.
For the medicine?
$2,600 before insurance for
I
a
thought she
blood
has
thinner.
Medicare.
This is after insurance gone. $2,600 before that.
Oh my God.
Jim, try the eye medicine I took. $130,000 a dose, 8 doses, over $1 million. I didn't pay a
Wow.
dime. The insurance covered it, but
Holy shit.
Wow.
I'd get the, this is not a bill. 130,000 for the medicine alone.
Jesus.
All right, so guys, are you watching the Dynasty? From what I've heard, they
Yeah, I
even-
have to watch it.
Great
I have to
reviews.
watch it.
Great reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
They go
reviews.
deep. They go
Yeah.
deep, I guess, right? Really deep.
Yeah, but apparently that everybody's ripping into Belichick, including Matthew Slater. Even when he was
Well, I think these guys. I think I think we're getting a little bit of that out of context, where these guys are like, even guys who love him say it's horrible. Like it's really, really hard to work for
Hey,
this guy.
listen, I played at Catholic Memorial in high school hockey, right? I freaking hated Bill Hansen. Hated his guts. Well, you know what? 17 state championships and 5 national championships.
I know,
Like
but
he coaches hard, man. It's not fun when you're getting coached hard.
again, apparently, yeah,
It's
but
about the results.
this Dynasty 10-part series is not going to portray Belichick well. Does this hurt him? It's not. It's just not. Does this hurt him in getting a job?
No.
No. Everyone knows, these owners know. That's why I think the only job he's getting is for some owner who's like, and I don't, this is going to be I'm going to do a deal with the devil. And I'm not saying that he's the devil, but they're going to do a deal with him to know that it's going to create some issues. But these guys need a title. Jerry Jones needs a freaking Super Bowl. He hasn't won a Super Bowl for like 30 years at this point, or whatever.
It's getting to be like 40.
He hasn't.
Oh,
They
so
haven't
yeah.
made the. They haven't made.
90,
They haven't made
early
a
90s.
conference. They haven't made a conference championship game for like 20 years, Joe.
Yeah.
Like look at that play that Malcolm Butler made. That was Belichick coaching. That's the Super Bowl,
Yes.
right?
Well,
there.
wasn't
Ernie
it,
Adams, actually.
Ernie Adams was the one that took him
but
inside there.
yeah, I know that, but like Belichick standing on that sideline, looking at Pete Carroll pee down his leg, no call a timeout.
Yeah, it's true.
That's Belichick. That's not Ernie Adams.
No,
That's no one else.
And you know what?
That's
Belichick
Bill
was smart
Belichick.
enough to put Ernie Adams next to him.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, they're all school chums from prep
It's,
school
you know,
and
one
college.
thing I've seen in business, anything, it's who you surround yourself with. If you're
Yeah, you're
smart
right.
enough to put smarter people around you.
Well, I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait. It premieres tomorrow. I guess tomorrow night. And I guess they're gonna feed us two episodes a week. I think that maybe that's it. I'm sure because they want us to at least do 2 months of the Apple TV till we bail on it. But well worth it. It's $10 a month. So
I get Apple TV.
Oh, you
So
do?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I was going through my Amex bill and I didn't realize I've been paying for it for like 3 years already. So I never even watched it. You know? So one of my kids signed up for it. I've never turned it on once in my life.
wow, and the money just flows with the
Just
Hoies, that's
flows.
for sure.
Oh my God! No wonder I'm broke.
Worried boys. I tried to go to the Celtics 45 minutes ago.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll get to
I'm
them.
ready.
Get to 'em. We're at
I'm
the
ready.
All-Star break.
May I
It's
digress?
The
All-Star break.
Braves.
It's All-Star break time. They have the best record in the league by far. Yesterday, if they had put the pedal to the metal, I truly believe they could have won by 100 points. If you watch the game, I mean, you had Jordan Walsh in there in the first quarter.
Yeah. The Nets was totally disinterested in that game.
The
yeah,
Nets scored what,
Nets mailed
17
it in.
points?
Yeah.
Then, like, they had 17 points, I think, halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is on all cylinders, and it's very well coached. Other than injury, what could stop us?
Injury. I think if they're healthy, Scotty, they're the best team in
In
basketball.
a 7-game series,
Yeah.
it'll be prevalent.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Or
watched.
a team that just has a good matchup against us. You know, a well-coached team that adjusts and
Yeah.
adjusts, but
Although
it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Brad has addressed a lot of those matchups.
Yeah, I watched the Nuggets play the Bucks. I actually put money on the Nuggets again, of course. So,
Oh, the Bucks won.
and I know that's been my luck with betting lately. They blew them out. The Bucks blew the Nuggets out. So I'm starting to think, and the way they played, they're not the team they were last year.
The Bucks are not the team they were.
No, the Nuggets.
No way.
The Nuggets.
I don't think they are either. No.
Yeah,
tough to bet against Jokic. Still tough to bet against that.
Yeah, because they worried me. Nobody else worried me.
Did Murray play in that game? I know he didn't play last night.
He played.
Yeah.
Nobody. Who worries you?
Denver. I got to tell you,
Phoenix is
we've had their number, but when Embiid played, do you realize what like the Sixers record when Embiid played this year was? They played like 750, almost 800 ball with Embiid.
Yeah,
I would not want them in the second round. I don't want the Sixers in the 4-5 slot. You want them in like the 3-6 slot on the other side of the.
And now they got Scotty's boy, Buddy Hield.
Yeah, they got
Scotty's other boy, Nick Lowry.
Yeah, look,
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking Nick Nurse's favorite Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Well, is Embiid going to come back this year?
Unknown. They say he's going to be back. He's
supposed to be back before the playoffs.
Think of this though: how out of shape will he be?
Right? Probably a lot.
Stamina has always been an issue.
And that's been his Achilles heel with the Celtics. He just runs out of gas in the fourth.
Look, we prefer not to play Philly and Milwaukee on our road to the championship.
Right.
Just we got to play one of those guys. And
Jimmy Bucket
Jimmy
Bucket scares me more than all of them.
No, I have to be honest with you. Porzingis is the game changer when it comes to the Heat. The Heat doesn't scare me at all with Porzingis.
Scott, you said the
zone at him. He can beat it.
You said the same exact thing when the Miami series started.
Oh my God, you were awful. That was one of the worst takes that you ever had.
Okay, you want to remind me of it?
No, I just did.
He can't recall.
They're like the Bruins Canadians back in the 60s. You know,
that was terrible.
Hey, let's
You're right.
Hey, let's talk about the good stuff. The Celtics are 5 games up in the conference in the loss column.
Yeah,
and they were 3-0 against Miami this year.
Almost 800 ball, and he's regularly giving guys every night. Some guy gets a night off.
Yeah.
We couldn't have dreamed of a better first half, guys.
That's totally right.
We couldn't have dreamed of better decisions by Brad in the offseason. He made these 2 nice little acquisitions he just made that addressed a couple of issues that he must be watching the Grandstanders because he knows what we needed and we told him.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, give Mazzulla some credit here. He has been operating.
He's been very good.
He's gotten the second team and even the third team more minutes this year already than they did the last 3 years.
And that'll pay dividends.
It will. Yeah. You know, if you need someone if there is an injury, you have someone with some experience going.
But the bottom line is, guys, we could talk about the acquisitions all we want, but Jason Tatum.
It's Jason Tatum.
Yeah, that's it. He has amped his game up even.
Oh my God. What he's been doing the last couple of weeks. He's so, KP is the X factor. You need him healthy. He's the cheat code, whatever you want to say. Jaylen Brown's still very important. Jason Tatum is the best player on that team by far.
Yes, he is. He is.
Did you see Stephen A. Smith today?
No. I heard that he was talking about the MVP thing. Yeah.
It's worth Googling.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. I find it very
what he was saying about Jason Tatum.
What did he say for our audience?
He was screaming that you stop ignoring the brother. He can do everything. He can put it in your face. He can turn you around. He'll beat you on free throws. He'll beat you every which way. It's time to stop making him third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Pay attention.
Stephen A. is worth the price of admission.
Oh, he's very good.
He
usually has good takes. He's not watching.
he puts his heart and soul into it. I mean, the guy lives and dies with the stuff. You know,
Yeah.
if he isn't, he's putting a good act on that he does. You know what I mean?
No, he never shortchanges the audience. I give him, yeah, I like him. He really he brings it every time. Even when he does the local stuff with the Boston radio,
Yeah.
like at the Super Bowl and stuff. I mean, he's given his effort with Maz and Felger. I saw little
Yep.
clips of
Yeah.
that. He's
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
Look, he's right though. I mean, Tatum rebounds the hell out of the ball. His assists have gone way up. His playmaking's much better. He gets the ball to the rim. Does he take 3-pointers a game that I wish he wouldn't take? Yes.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's like quibble.
But he's making these now, Russ. He's making
Yeah.
these incredible 3-pointers, and
my fear
He
is
still shoots below average.
But my fear is we see
Scott.
him go into a shell sometimes in some very critical times, and I worry about that.
Yeah, until he proves us otherwise. You're right. Tim.
Until he proves us otherwise, he just goes stone cold, man. Like a half, like no points, 2 points. You know what I mean?
Well,
remember against
incredible.
Philly last year, that game, I think he was like 1 for 15. And then remember in the second half, he caught fire and won the game. But that was 1 for 15. We were all texting each other like, oh my God, this is like one of the worst clutch
Don't let him
performances
touch
ever.
the ball.
I'm not sure if I was at that game. I might have been. It was brutal.
He's becoming Kobe. I hate to tell you, he needs to win the title, but he's becoming Kobe. He can do when he drives to the basket. They have no answers for him.
Oh, yeah.
They don't.
And so what's he, 25?
25.
Bird came into the league at 23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
24.
So he's Bird. Where would you put Bird in his third year? And I mean, I'm not putting
Bird won the
in
MVP,
yet.
I think, his third year.
I
Bird was
don't know.
incredible.
That's different players.
Yeah, Bird was another player.
Yeah.
Bird's a top 5 all-time great. You know?
I mean, is Pierce already a top 10 Celtic of all time?
Pierce or Tatum?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Tatum.
Tatum. Yeah, I would say yes.
I think he's the top 5 scorer.
Yeah.
Player. I mean,
Right?
player.
Player.
If you were picking.
Yeah, but I mean,
if
he's
you
a
were to
top
pick
10
a team-
player, but
Yeah.
top 5. He's already a top 5 scorer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he's definitely in the top 10 of all-time Celtics. I would say.
yeah, right. I mean, he's fun to watch.
But I think to really cement that, you got to put a few championships.
Well,
Yeah,
just
do we
gotta
put
get
him
one.
on the
You gotta
mantle.
get one, Joe.
Do
You gotta
you
get
put
this-
him over? Do you put him over Pierce right now?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
So here's one for you. Sean Grandy tweeted this. Tatum played in his 322nd win Tuesday night in Brooklyn. Only 5 players in NBA history have played in more before their 26th birthday. None of those 5 played in college. So basically, because he spent 1 year in college, everybody else on the list at most wins at age 25 went straight from high school.
KG, Moses,
It's
Malone.
all time. I mean,
Kobe.
LeBron.
it's Tony Parker, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Jermaine O'Neal, Daryl Dawkins.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Harold Dawkins. Chocolate Thunder.
No, I mean, he's a pleasure to watch, and I mean, obviously we'll get into other weeks, but
Scotty, do you remember how down we were on him during COVID? He was sitting in his
Oh my
cubicle.
God. Yep. Well, I tell you something. I think the key to Tatum, to Brown, to this organization was the acquisition of Derek
White. Yep, I
Everything
agree.
changed. They went from black and white to color. The moment he was on the court, I remember the first time he checked in, it looked and felt different, and it's been different ever since.
Mhm.
The whole vibe
Yeah.
of this team changed week 2, period.
Well, Brad at the time asked the guys who they'd like on the team, and Brown, Tatum, and Smart, who had played with them on the All-American team, all said we'd like Derek White.
Really? Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, Russ,
3
would you agree
guys
that it all
came up with
changed?
the same name.
Russ, would you agree that changed that
Yeah, I mean, I think it absolutely helped, and he's turned out to be an incredible player. But remember, though, we were pretty frustrated with them last year, right?
Yep.
And I just don't think you can look past the switch from Smart and Brogdon and Robert Williams and Grant Williams to Drew Holiday and KP. I just think it's a totally different vibe. These guys are just playing basketball at a much higher level of professionalism.
Scotty, I
Much
fought
more
you a little
mature,
bit.
much more professional.
I fought you a little bit, Scotty, when you said the best player on the team had to be the leader, and Tatum had to be the leader. He had to be.
Yeah, and he is.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the man. He's the man. And when you talk about Russ, the unselfishness of his assists are up. He's a great rebounder. These are the things we've talked about here in the Grandstanders Live, that he wasn't going to become a great player until he bought into that.
And his
Part
turnovers
of it was getting rid of Smart. As much as I love Marcus Smart, it had to be clearly defined who was in charge over there.
Well, what he did the other night, and this is pretty amazing. He had 31 at the half, right? And we've seen a lot of guys go very high in points recently, 71, 72, 60s. And remember, Karl Anthony Towns got benched in the fourth quarter of a game that he was pushing 70 because he was hogging the ball, and they ended up losing that game. Tatum ended up with 40 or 41 points. In the whole second half, he could have easily gotten 50 or 60 points. He deferred over and over again in the second half of that game the other night.
That's a great point. And Missoula kept him in a lot longer than he should, I think, because Missoula was thinking that he wanted to get a big number.
Yeah, I just think that I basically think that Tatum said after the games, like, I've scored 50, I've scored 60. Most important thing now is to win these games.
That's harmony. That's harmony right there.
Yeah. That was a good point, Russ, because the night that Cat scored the 72, they lost.
They lost that game.
Yeah.
They lost that game.
Who is more important, and we'll go to the Bruins, Timmy, in 1 second after this question. Who's more important acquisition, Porzingis or Holiday?
I think Porzingis. Yeah.
He gives them much more versatility.
Yeah.
Is he
Also, they gives them a maturity and a court presence. But Porzingis can do so many things.
The fact he can shoot threes is just another world thing. You know?
That's an ugly shot, that set shot.
But he makes them. Yeah.
Is he the second most important player on the team?
Yes.
He's pretty close between him and Brown. Yeah. Him and Brown.
Brown's probably the second best player on the team, but Porzingis is second most important.
I give, Porzingis never took any of his teams anywhere. Brown has taken his teams very, very close.
Fair point. Yep, it's a fair point.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, boys, we're going to go to Tim Hoey's Boston Bruins. Trading deadline is March 8th. Lots of talk right now.
I know.
A few weeks. Do the Bruins do anything?
Get rid of DeBrusque?
I don't know. DeBrusque is a very good player. He's 26 years old. He's hitting his prime.
Would you move him?
Because his contract's up and he doesn't intend to resign.
Is that what he said?
He's not scoring a ton of goals either. He said he's not going to resign, or he's going to go.
Well, that's the scuttlebutt. I have no idea. But
when I met him in person, I was shocked at how young he was.
Yeah.
Shockingly, like, I'm looking at DeBrusque and I'm thinking, he's a guy. He's a freaking kid.
How old is he?
No, but he's not going to give him a hometown
25,
discount.
26. He's my son Aiden's age. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kids, they're all kids. DeBrusque is a very good player. I would want I'd want something really good in return. I mean, now you're hurting the team. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to improve the team by getting rid of him. I don't know.
Can you? It comes down to: do you think you can make a run this year? If you think you can't make a run, then you trade him. No, but if you think you can make a run,
yeah, they're obviously.
You got to keep. You got to keep them then.
Yeah.
You try
unless something falls in their lap, Scotty. I don't think they're doing much.
You try to go get a guy like Bertuzzi?
They can't. They don't have any money.
They got no money.
They got to move.
They can't if the other team's going to swallow some. They'll swallow most of the salary. They can.
Well, but I don't think
they don't even have any picks.
The salary cap.
They don't even have picks to trade. I don't think they have a first rounder this year.
They went all in last year, right?
They don't have a first rounder this year either.
No.
They went all in last year.
I don't even think they have a first or second this year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, we really are stuck.
Well, that's not as important in hockey, really, because a lot you're drafting young kids, And even lots of things can change in the next 2-3 years after they're drafted. You see a
Oh,
lot
wow.
of late draft picks in
Yeah, the Bruins
So
got a
here's one
bunch of
for you.
draft picks that
They
I've
don't
never
have a
seen yet.
first round pick. They don't have a second round pick, and they
Right.
don't have a third round pick.
Yeah, right.
But the Bruins have a ton of guys in the farm system who were first, second, and third round.
Yeah.
You know?
You give up Lizelle to get somebody?
Oh, that's a good question, Scotty.
I would. Yeah, I would.
I would too. Because
I think you have to go for
they're
it.
there.
They have to go
They're
for it
in
this year.
contention. They are in contention. That is
There's
for
no
sure.
great.
If you could get a center, no, go for a center, because that's where we're weak. Is the center, even if he's a third line center.
And just to
But
be
you might-
clear,
but
you know how much cap space we have right this minute?
100,000.
$87,500.
Oh my god!
You know, Scotty. Speaking of Lizelle, like you got to wonder what the Bruins' take on him is right now.
Well, he's
You
been
know
there
what I mean?
he's been the minors for Providence
But-
for 2 years, right?
But
One.
he's
This
still
is
he's
first
still a
year.
kid. He's
No,
still a
I
kid.
think he was there last year.
He's
Yeah.
a kid. He's still,
No, he was in Sweden or whatever last.
Scotty, I guarantee if you ran into Lizelle in the hallway, you'd think he's a senior at BC High. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just.
So I mean, if he's got a lot of skill and he just needs to build his body up, I don't know if you want to be sending him away. You know what I mean?
Well, they got to go for it this year. The Marchand window is closing. I mean, I think you have, and then you're not going to have these two goalies forever. I think you got to go for it again.
Well, I don't know. We got, we're gonna have the young goalie for a while. I bet. Well, I don't know. No, he wants his money,
Yeah,
doesn't he? Swayman.
Yeah.
I mean, Timmy, the thing is, we talked about him last. So you got DeBruska's at $4 million this year. He's an unrestricted free agent next year. Grzelcyk is at $3.6 million this year, and he's an unrestricted free agent.
All right. So Grzelcyk, you might be able to afford to lose.
Yeah, right.
Well,
If you
that
could
new
trade
kid
him
hasn't
for
looked bad. What's his name? Weatherford?
Yeah.
He hasn't
Wotherspoon.
looked bad. Weatherspoon.
You might find a team that really needs a puck handling defenseman,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Grzelcyk fits that bill. He's not big, but he's a legit puck moving defenseman. And if you could get a guy who knows how to put the puck in the net for him, but they got enough grinders. You know what I mean? They need a center who can really play.
So that'd be
I don't know how
Bertuzzi.
many of them are sitting around.
Bertuzzi.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
Bertuzzi's in Toronto. Why would Toronto trade you?
I thought he was
Bertuzzi?
in like fourth line. No, I thought they.
Toronto was top heavy with their front top line is awesome with Nylander and Matthews and that's just crazy good. But they need depth, and that's where Bertuzzi comes in.
But I mean, this is a team. I don't think we're taking the Bruins seriously enough. I think they could win it.
I do too. I just don't know. I mean, I think we all agree they should try to get something. It's just that those are the two salaries they could
Yeah.
trade, and you got no draft picks. So
And you have
You're looking at-
$87,000.
packaging, you could package those two guys and try to get a great player, but that great player is going to be better than both of them. In a
I
way.
think the only way I don't think you're going to see DeBrusco. I think he's too important.
Yeah.
I think Grzelcyk would be expendable. They got a strong decor over there.
But you can
And
only
they do
trade
have guys
Grzelcyk
like
for.
Lowry and down in Providence they could bring up.
Remember,
You would have to find a team that really needs a Grzelcyk as what we want.
right? But they have to have what we want for something
Yeah.
around $4 million.
Yeah.
Like you're not
Yeah.
getting a $7 million player back. You can't afford
Yeah.
it.
It's got to be a quid pro quo.
The parameters are tiny,
Yeah,
Well, that's Don Sweeney's job,
that's exactly right.
Well, so much to talk about, boys. I'm glad we get to talk sports once a week. All right, boys. So that's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellows. Please check us out on our website at grandstanders.com and tune in maybe Wednesday night of next week on Big. It'll be if Handsome Todd decides to separate
He's in-
himself from Crystal.
Depends on the
He's in
owner of
love.
the Jets.
He's in love jail right now.
Yeah, that's our show for tonight. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.